just for fun, have you ever heard this song? Roller derby thing? Have you heard it?
Gonna tell you a story that you won't believe, but I fell in love last Friday evening with a girl I saw on a ballroom TV screen. Well, I was just getting ready to get my hat when she caught my eye and I put it back. I ordered myself a couple more shots and beer. The night I fell in love with a roller derby queen. Round and round, oh round and round, the meanest hunk of woman that anybody ever seen. Down at the arena she was 5'6" by 215. A bleach blonde bomber with a streak of mean. She knew how to knuckle and she knew how to scuffle and fight. And the roller derby program said she was built like a refrigerator with her hair. Her fans called her Tuffy, but all her buddies called her Spike. You know that I fell in love with a roller derby queen. Around and round, oh round and round, the meanest hunk of woman that anybody ever seen. Down at the arena, oh, round and round, oh, round and round, oh, round and round, oh, round and round, round and round, round. Well, I could not help it but to fall in love with this heavy-duty woman I've been speaking of. Things were kind of bad until the day she skated into my life. Oh, well, she might be nasty and she might be fat, but I never met a person who would tell her that. She's my bleach blonde bomber, my heavy-duty sack mama. You know that I fell in love with a roller derby queen. Around and round, oh, round and round, the meanest hunk of woman that anybody ever seen. Down at the arena, oh, round and round, oh, round and round, round and round, oh, round and round.
You ever heard that one?
I don't think so.
Jim Croce. I mean, it's like one of those ones that I had never even heard of.
If I have,
Yeah.
like my buddy there from school, he liked him a lot, right?
Yeah.
So if he might have played it, if he was playing some of his stuff, right? But I don't recall. It's a funny one. Did you ever see roller derby?
I think I might have seen the one movie, the roller derby movie with Raquel Welch, but not live, no.
No, it's roller derby was 70s.
70s.
Yeah. It was like, it was big in the 70s.
It was huge.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, it was. It was actually pretty kind of.
There's supposed to be a new movie coming out about it.
Yeah.
Is there?
Yeah, I think it's called Whip It or something. It just seems...
Funny that I missed the one with Raquel Welch.
You're probably the only guy
Dang.
who did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was pretty young, right? I remember her, and what was that? She was in a prehistoric movie one.
Oh,
God.
yeah. Yeah, it was like.
I was so choked at it. Dinosaurs and Raquel Welch, and I still had to go to bed early. Sucked.
Can't remember what the heck that one was called. I remember seeing parts of it.
Big parts.
Yeah, right. The big parts of it.
I remember certain parts.
They sort of jet out my memory. No, roller derby was actually quite cool. That was, I mean, Jim Croce was really popular when my stepdad owned the health club.
Mm-hmm.
And that was early 70s.
Yeah.
or just, well, it's going into, it was like 73, 74. This
I think I was
Jim
talking about
Croce.
the Jewish guys who would steal the towels.
Yes, the Jewish guys that would steal the towels.
Seriously, eh?
Yeah.
Seriously.
Well, they didn't steal the towels. They didn't take them home. They just took them without paying for them.
Right.
Right. They would steal towels out of the front because you were supposed to pay a quarter a towel. Right. Then they'd wait till the guy's back was turned and take a towel. Right. And these guys, when Jim bought the health club, he inherited those guys, right? Because they were all old Jewish guys that always went to the health club and always was, you know, I mean, it was their place,
Yeah.
kind of thing. So he says you couldn't really, you know, mess with them on that
Right.
level. I mean, they'd always been coming there and stuff.
Yeah.
Weren't they Holocaust survivors too?
Yeah, there was a bunch of them that were Holocaust survivors.
There's some of that stuff I don't know how they survive. I mean, they're alive, but they call it surviving.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, and the amount of scarring that you have from that, right? It's, my grandma used to have, like, I mean, having survived the Depression, right? Had a pantry full of stuff that she never used.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, canned goods that were like 5 or 6 years old. You know, we'd have to go in and clean it out every once in a while.
Yeah.
And I know, one of the Hogans married a German woman who came to the U.S. with her sons, and Dad can remember one of the sons doing the Heil Hitler thing, because they all had to be Hitler Youth.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they, got in trouble. So he said, yeah, that was kind of odd.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
that kind of indoctrination.
Yeah.
That was.
It was interesting because my mother-in-law was in, where she was from. I don't remember the name of it. She was downtown, like it got bombed
Right.
during, like, she was a teenager.
Sure, Blitzkrieg. Or, no, that was German.
Yeah, it was just the bombing, right?
Yeah.
But my father-in-law, who would have been probably an ideal candidate for all kinds of bad things, was on the farm in the country.
Right.
Yeah.
So he was just helping provide food for everyone, right?
Right.
Right.
So he wasn't,
He wasn't taken up.
yeah. It's like,
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's you see what they go through or what they went through. I mean, you can understand why the Jewish community gets all up in arms about it. The truth is, though, that the generation that we're seeing now know nothing about it, really. As Jewish people, they're just clinging on to something that their dads taught them, right? And it's like, it's not to say that it didn't happen. It's not to say to recognize it, but stop crying poor me now, right? Poor me is 2 generations ago, right? But I mean, it's sort of like the Native Indians do the same thing. It's still the poor me, the white man took our land, the white man. You know, I mean, it's like you guys are 5 or 6 generations out of this. You know, more than that actually. You know, it's like, and you guys are still holding on to that. It's time to join the 20th century. No, please.
I don't think it'll happen anytime
Oh,
soon.
No.
I don't think so.
I live near the reserves and
I know.
I've dealt with lots of them, right?
Yeah, but I mean,
Know lots of them, right.
because the government gives them handouts.
Yeah.
I mean, and so they don't have to,
Yeah.
right? You know, it's like, oh, we don't have to. It just lays back.
Well, and the worst part is, and you probably heard it yourself, that the poverty on the reservations. Because they give it to the governing body, the money to the governing body.
The governing body just
The body
kind of,
says, hey, you're my brother, you can come and live here with me. You, who I don't know you, your shack is not going to just stay a shack.
yeah.
And we get the problem is then it gets back to your shack was given to you, so you don't really care about it. You
Yeah.
don't pay for it,
Right.
Yeah.
and then it just keeps on going downhill.
Yeah.
And then it goes, oh, look at this poor guy. So it's true the money's being hoarded. Like,
By the council.
my mom talks about someone, guy who knew, she was doing his taxes, he was getting $100 grand a year tax-free because he was on the reserve, you don't pay income taxes, and he would still get his quarterly GST check because he had no declared income. So he'd
Right.
come in and get his, $500 a year or whatever, his low income was GST. Other guys we know, they get like 10,000 every time they sign a document. They're part of the council, right?
Right.
They hold their meetings in Hawaii. All the council goes to Hawaii. Yeah. They just do, but they are rolling in absolute, total massive wealth.
Mm-hmm.
The handouts.
Right.
But the cameras come over and look at this part of the reserve over here, where all the houses are falling down. Haven't been painted in 10 years. And,
Right.
dead cars everywhere and all that crap, right?
Yeah.
Because they don't get the money. They don't care about their stuff.
Yeah, but even
It's
if
a
they do
combination
get the
of-
money, they don't care about their stuff. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, having lived in Slave Lake, right? And I mean, that's reserve land. That's like the Sawridge Indians, and they're actually one of the good tribes. Like the council actually, it's a fairly rich council because they have oil on their land. But they tend to provide fairly well for their people, and so I mean, Slave Lake wasn't run down or anything, right? And not really. And you got the
What's
outer
left of it
reserves.
isn't run
Yeah,
down.
yeah, it's caught fire not that long ago.
Right, that's right. I was
Yeah,
watching
so
those.
Yeah,
part of
and-
it burned.
But so where we were living, you still had that. Right? Even though they got money for their stuff, they just let it run down because, like you said, it's a lunker. It's not mine. I mean, I get another one later.
Yeah.
So they run them into the ground. And I mean, even if the council does give the money, it's free money.
Yeah.
Now they'll all use it.
Yeah.
There's no, they don't, for whatever reason, there's no responsibility around it. There's no, because they get so many breaks, they go, oh good. No, they just, and I never understood that. It's just like, so take the break and do something.
Right. No, I hear you, but
Well, I mean,
I remember my brother-in-law going into one place where they'd start a kitchen fire. He was a volunteer firefighter in Seashell. And he said at first they went in and then they checked the place out. And he said all the rooms had like old hospital beds with bare mattresses on them. Like wire frame,
yeah.
bare mattress, sagging. Fishing pole stuck on the wall, hanging your clothes on it. And the habit they have is taking, for firewood, they break open the walls and take every second stud out to burn. They're too lazy. They get free firewood and access, but too lazy for that. And one of my cousins, his company, that's what they had, was they had the money to go in and renovate all his homes. Bring them back up to code and make them livable again.
and then they get
That's
it
all
again.
on our money.
Yeah.
It's all on money.
Yeah.
Right out of our pocket.
Oh God, we're sorry done by the fucking asshole, white eyes.
Yeah.
Right.
Feel pretty bad for you guys.
Well, I mean, and again, it's like, is there prejudice out there? You bet there is. I mean, I remember Mom was talking. She said, we had a native guy come on our site and wanted a job and stuff like that. And she said, I have to tell you, I'm not saying it's a stereotype, really, but it's really true. When I hire a native guy, they tend to be lazy. They don't want to do work. You prove to me that you can do work. That's great. But and it's not. And she said 99 out of 100 of them will. Right. It's the odd one that really has some motivation.
Yeah.
And it's, it is scary. It really is. It's really scary with the amount of lack of motivation based on that. It's like, I don't know. It's sort of like us coddling French. I can't figure that one out. We conquered you, but
We feel sorry for you, so
we're going to give you all your own heritage. Your own
Well, a
language.
lot of their stuff is they have lots of voting power, right?
Yeah, well, they do, sort of.
That's where most of the coddling comes from.
Rep by pop.
Yeah.
Representation.
Well, and
by
then
population.
there's some islands off the east coast that are actually France.
France, owned by France.
Yeah.
Oh.
We had the Canadian back road, big huge guy in the car, bored one day.
Yeah.
I think we're on the ferry and we're flipping through it, and this is France. Holy shit!
I didn't know that.
You
hilarious.
neither. Yeah.
It's hilarious.
It's like somewhere on the east coast.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, I just don't know. It's kind of irritating, and it's kind of irritating on the level of it's like the natives are all whining.
Yeah.
Why are you whining?
Well, it's
You
like,
get all of the hands up. Well, blah blah blah. And I said, I understand that nobody teaches you guys how to fucking live, and that when they do, you don't want to. You know, oh, we've lived like this for. Okay. You can't complain there. Sorry.
It's like Drew is saying with, with having money, I should go see if I can, get the medical premium discount so he doesn't have to pay it or something. Well, because he's sponsoring me, he can't do that.
I can't do that.
He can't be on any services for those 3 years. Unless he gets disabled. That's the only thing you can claim is disability. It's
So
like,
you can't get the help out that the government gives you if you
can't get any help.
earning.
And not only he can't get
less.
help, I can't get help either.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
So it's like, and that's for 3 years.
Well,
So we're like, oh crap.
But no, it's just weird. I mean, if you are declared Métis, just the fucking tax breaks and shit that you schooling. And you can actually go to the Métis Council and see if you can get grants for that.
oh yeah. My mom had, what's this guy? She knew him, I don't know, that was quite a while ago, so I wasn't sure if it was Greg's friend or tax client's friends. It was like 20-something, and they were talking about schooling. And he was going in for being a lawyer,
Right.
and there's a short course and a long course, apparently, to get to the bar, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he made the comment there that, well, my education's all free, so just take it along.
Yeah.
It's be nice. I mean, having tens of thousands of,
Well, law school's really expensive.
yeah, just based on skin color here. Yeah, that's it.
Well, I mean,
Well, it's like with affirmative action in the States.
Yeah.
Because, they say it's for women and minorities. It's more for minorities than it is women. I've never gotten a job from affirmative action.
Yeah.
I got financial aid. I got like one scholarship out of high school, but I never really got any, never could qualify
Yeah,
for
well,
grants.
scholarship is not financial aid.
No, never could qualify for, what, a lot of kids got because I'm not a minority.
yeah. Well, I mean, it's I don't know. We can all look at it and go, well, it's not fair. But if we had that kind of skin color, we'd be going, woohoo! Right? I mean, so, I mean, we look at it from our perspective and they go, oh, why bitch complain? And it's just like if we were over there, we would be just eating it up.
It's the squeaky wheel gets the grease and all that, right?
Well, but it's politics, part of it.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes them look good. Well, I'm for the minorities, right? And the minorities have a population base that, I mean, even if you're dealing with the Native American population or stuff like that, any of the minorities, Jews and stuff like that, they're good with minorities, right? It's a political move. And I mean, that's when we were talking about politics and like watching Bill Maher and all the stuff that's going on in the States, it's all a bunch of maneuvering. It's a puppet show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Move this guy over there. Okay.
Well, I love watching. It makes me laugh every time I watch TV.
Right.
Even just watching the commercials, right?
Oh yeah, I know.
The equal representation of the people. They're just a backdrop. There's Myers, Wiener's commercial, like which type of kids are there.
Yeah.
Right.
Oscar Mayer.
And I really love it when they have a man and a woman, and they make a joke or something, and the joke's always in the guy.
Yeah.
You can't have a joke in a woman. That's bad.
Well, that's because the women are
Bitch,
voting, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Well,
they're actually a minority.
Yeah, actually, one of my favorites was the one for Orbit Gum, where Orbit cleans a dirty mouth, and where there was the husband and the wife and supposedly the girlfriend, and they're having this argument and something, you cootie queen. Who are you calling cootie queen? You liquor, It was funny. They're trying to portray it as some big cat fight,
Yeah. Well, it's funny talking about the natives, eh?
Yeah.
Working.
Yeah.
One thing with logging, it doesn't matter whether you clear cut or do variable retention logging like they do now, which is, they have patches, right? And they leave tree patches in between.
Right.
With wildlife corridors going,
Yeah.
all this stuff, right? It's a real pain in the ass to work, I want you to know. But either way, there's always undulations in the hill, and usually the water, of course, flows
through the
creek beds through there, right?
Right.
So for a long time, what they do now is they have what they call creek cleaning, and you go over logged areas and you toss out, you identify. It's pretty obvious usually.
Yep.
You cut out any logs, or theoretically logs are gone, right?
Right.
But you can have rotten logs that can still end up in it.
deadfall and
Whatever, deadfall or rotted
Yeah.
trees that are mostly pulp and not
real
working.
trees. Yeah.
Yeah. And one year we were laid off with a big layoff, early layoff. It was quite long. And they said, well, to try and help our crews, we've been having these native crews come in, day out, and they've been creek cleaning our settings, right? As an initiative to help them, give them employment and self-worth and so on, right?
Right.
Opportunities to work. And they said, well, why don't we offer it to some of our crew? And that's when I ended up being the crew chief on 12 guys in this creek cleaning thing, right? And of course, I didn't know dick all about it. None of my guys knew dick all about it, right? So I'm asking all the engineers who are basically running the show, and one of the classic things is if you see a creek coming down and there's a really old, like a log going across, and it's got sand against it.
Mhm.
So it'll be rushing down here, and then it'll kind of settle, and then it goes across,
And around.
or it'll be going across, but it'll be shallow.
Yeah.
It's kind of a slowing effect, right?
Right.
So you leave that. That was there before. You just leave it,
Mhm.
because you don't want, if you end up cleaning it, like say you took a pick and you cleaned it right out, then when the next time it rains, it actually makes a cataract down there,
Yeah.
and actually will
Will
wash
flood,
away
yeah.
all the stuff that's normally
That's
stays there,
supposed to be there.
or can jump the track and wash away a whole bunch of sediment down
Right.
the creek.
Right.
So this is stuff we learned,
Yeah.
slow but sure. And some of us, are taking out little bits, and some of us have power saws, and we were lighting little fires to burn up the stuff, right? And within about 2 weeks, the engineers were coming around going, "What the hell?" Because we had just
Gone and done it.
we just went and worked.
Right.
We weren't really busting our asses. We were just working at it, and
Right.
this one's done. Okay, this one's done. This one's done. And they're just going, because we're doing like 10 times the work of the native crew, right?
Right.
Actually, me and a buddy of mine did that same thing on a layoff. We got hired to do brushing on the sides of the roads. 2 of us.
Mhm.
We had little power saws and little like hand saws and long poles.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And the same thing. The 2 of us motoring along, right?
Yeah.
1 kilometer or 2 a day, or whatever. Just away we go.
Yep. Just blazing
They're
through
just
it.
going-
You're not really fast. You're just
We're not running.
steady.
We're just
Yeah.
going, right? It's hilarious.
Yeah. The native crews. Yeah.
Well,
Well, I mean,
they actually finally shut him down when the guy who was running it had a boat, and he was kind of in charge of running them.
right.
And he went up there, and one of the guys was running a power saw, and the blade and everything, chain fell off. Standing there watching him, and the stuff fell off. The bolts had got loose, and he has not, just was running it, and it just fell right off. And he's looking down at the guy. The guy's wearing regular pants instead of falling pants, and running shoes. And you say no, safety gear whatsoever. That was it. They shut him down.
Done.
And, this is pretty. Well, I forgot my stuff.
Yeah, whatever.
The frig ever. You don't have to be running a power saw to be like. There's other jobs there that don't require the power saw. No.
Well, like I said, it's the whole attitude. It permeates their whole society, and it's that attitude of we've been had, and you owe us. I mean, it's like I said, it's few and far between. I mean, the stereotype is there. There is some prejudice in there that's unfortunately part of the stereotype. Right? I'm not prejudiced against them per se. Right? You come up to me and
Do I sound prejudiced? Yeah.
Well, we are to the degree that we judge what we see,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, literally, guys, this is most of you, right? It's sort of like saying you can't say all East Indians are cheap, okay? But you can say the majority of them are, right? Because they come from poverty-stricken country where you have to bargain for everything.
Then how come they get all the tech support jobs?
Because they are cheap.
Oh.
But you have to bargain for everything. You have to.
I know that. I just thought I.
So they come into the society, and that's what they know. They grub for everything,
Yeah.
right? And so you can say a lot of East Indians are cheap. It's part of their culture. Same thing with the natives. This is part of your culture. You were taught to be lazy. Nobody told you any different. I mean, the rape rate on the reserve is huge, through the roof, right?
Grim. Yeah.
It's just grim, because, like you said, they're taking every second stud out. They're, they don't want to get up off their chair, right?
Well, I forgot to mention the every second stud out place. Each room had a nice big ghetto blaster.
Oh, of course.
The bed was this rickety old piece of rusted piece of crap.
But I mean,
Ghetto blaster.
it's what they're taught to begin with, right? I mean, nobody teaches them.
No doors on in other rooms. Good in the bathroom. All burnt. Had a sheet up in the bathroom.
But I mean, and having been there, and I mean, it's like when you go up to the outer reserves. I mean, it's all the same. A lot of them, even in town, just because the government gave them their house. I don't care. And when you live like that, I mean, it's sort of like the difference between the way that you guys keep your house and the way I keep my house. I was never taught. Nobody ever taught me to keep my house, right? My mom now keeps a decent house, right, when she gets older. But when we were there, never.
So he's saying it's nurture versus nature.
Yeah.
Right. See,
It
my
is.
mom kept
Well,
a
but-
really clean house until we moved to Chehalis and had so much trouble with our house that we had rats in the walls and stuff. And my dad was no help, and she was like, "Yeah, forget this." And then when we moved to Winlock, she couldn't do anything. She got sick, and I'd never done anything, and she considered herself guilty of, "Oh, I never made you do chores." Yeah, I had knee surgery every summer, so I was 13 to 16. I couldn't have done it anyways.
You had a what?
Knee surgery. I was spent half of my adolescence, on crutches
Yes.
or in a leg brace, so there wasn't much I could do. So.
But I mean, it's part of it is what you've been taught, how you've been taught by your parents. I mean, she comes from a strict background, right? And I'm sure that they were clean.
Oh, my grandma's house is immaculate.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm talking about Sleeman.
Oh.
And you also
yeah.
come from a house where, but your mom's not like that, is she?
Used to be.
Used to be, right? So
I
she,
got a place in
Yeah.
when I was growing up.
yeah,
It was
when
always-
you were growing up, you had that, whether it's subconsciously placed in your head, or she used to smack you upside the head, get your dishes done, whatever. I don't know how that
Well,
works.
the strange thing is, though, it still gets back to my bedroom would drift a bit.
Mhm.
Then when I just got a corner, that's it. Clean.
Yeah.
Whereas Rebecca's, she was raised in the same place, and
Just
she was like grade 12. My mom bought her nice clothes, and her bedroom floor was step. It was all the clothes everywhere on the floor. Just dropped.
yeah. Well, I mean, my
So-
my sister was like that too. Was like
My mom's house was still clean at that point.
yeah.
So I don't know.
Well, I mean, I guess it's the type of personality as well, right? I mean, my sister's more dirty than I am, and I'm pretty untidy, right? But in comparison to going into a native house, it's nothing,
Yeah.
right? And when you get raised in that kind of mentality.
They say I had the pile
pick it
of
up, no matter what.
clothes, but the pile of clothes were clean. It's just usually I didn't have closet space or enough drawers.
Yeah.
So I just kind of put my pile there, and of course my dad's always like, well, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, and if it's wrinkled, I can put it in the dryer before I go.
Yeah, see, Sabina's into being tidy, but she's also been into clean.
Yeah.
There's a difference there,
Oh
right?
no,
Yeah,
I know that.
there's big
I
It's like
agree.
you go to Rebecca. I remember one time I went to Rebecca's house. I don't know why, but I lifted up her toilet seat. I was having a shower or something. I was staying over. That's what I was staying over a few days doing OB in the winter.
Right.
Me and Connor had come over. Right? I lifted it up, and it was literally black with mildew on the bottom.
Ew.
Because Nick, her son, was notorious for when he peed, he'd even sit. He'd sit and pee, but he would kind of spray not
Right on the
in
yeah.
very well. It would kind of go forward more.
Yeah.
Right.
So it kind of sprayed underneath.
Ugh.
And I'm just going, where's the boiling water? It was grim, and I'm just going, hello?
That's the one thing
I'm
I
stuck in clean. Do you know no fucking idea how to clean?
Well, I mean, my sister
Like,
would have moldy
Use the
shit
toilet
on the
brush.
counter.
yeah,
I mean,
like,
I lived with my sister, and this was the big thing. And I mean, I know that I'm untidy, right? And I know that I can at times be unclean, but my sister puts me to shame, right? And I mean, we lived in this house, like my sister and I lived in. It was a 2-bedroom, downstairs basement suite. And when I first moved back to Edmonton from my grandparents, and I ended up living with my sister, and don't ever want to do that again. But so she used to be at me all the time. Oh, got around dishes, blah 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 blah, right? And finally, I said, "Listen, you know," because I was kind of keeping up with them, right? But I mean, she had her boyfriend, me, and her, and I was doing all the work, right? My sister did fuck all, right? And I went to her. I said, "Okay, listen, I'll do my dishes. I'll clean up my mess. If I'm cooking something in the kitchen, I'll clean it all up." I said, "But you guys got to do yours." Piles of dishes. Have my dish. You know, I'd wash my dish.
yeah.
I'd have to wash a dish to have a dish, but
Yeah, sure.
you know, and so just piles of stuff everywhere, and I
So
just
you
said,
just color a pig and be done with it?
no, you
Like
can't.
Straight
You,
just thump you? Your
it-
boyfriend would thump you.
No.
Both thump you.
no, she tried to thump me once. She used to beat me up when we were kids, right?
Yeah.
So she just, and I've told you that story.
Yeah.
No, she wouldn't confront me like that. And I just like, hey, I told her, I said, you can see what you guys don't do, and you can understand, because I literally said, I'm going to do this, and you guys see what you guys do. Yeah. My room was nice and tidy.
It's
It was
almost
the
like
only
spotless,
place.
but you-
Huh?
I'm gonna get lightning bolted here, right?
Yeah.
This is close to friends, we might get hurt, right? I appreciate your consideration.
The sharing. Can you split that in two, please?
So how did it work out? What did they finally do?
Actually, Shannon finally figured it out. She really did. Because I had set it up beforehand,
Yeah.
saying, you guys get to clean what you are doing, but I will clean my stuff,
Yeah.
right? Every once in a while, I might vacuum the space in the house. No. But I mean, Shannon didn't do anything. Just never did. She was never clean.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I was at least mildly clean, but untidy.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
yeah, that's about me.
So I mean, you know, Talia and I get together and we're both like that. Woohoo!
We both have lived the bachelor lifestyle for so long.
But I mean, it's and like I said, we've actually for us have been doing really
We've
well.
been doing a
We're
lot
vacuuming
better.
once a week, and you know, I mean,
That's really good.
That's huge good for us.
Keeping
right?
up
You
better
know?
on the laundry.
And
cleaning the
I'm
bathroom.
keeping up on the kitchen, and so when guests do come over, it's it's a couple
It's
of
just-
hours, you know,
Just
to
pick up
just
a couple things.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
vacuum.
That's so funny. We had, I think I told you, we had
The big-
my Uncle
the big-
Ken
yeah.
and like 20 people over
Yeah.
there. 22 people is choked, but it's so funny, because it's like they didn't care.
Yeah.
right? Like we had like 6 chairs in the dining room, and it was full of all the mature women.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm outside, and then next thing you know, outside the back door on the deck, which is half ripped up, there's all these people standing, talking, just yakking away. And some were dribbling out on the lawn, and some were dribbling over me by the barbecue. And
Didn't matter.
we threw chairs on the lawn, with chairs all, every chair in the place was set up. I just sat on them, sat on the stairs, and ate and yacked and
Shared knives.
and shared knives. I didn't have enough steak knives to go around for the steak.
Oh, that's fun.
And I'm sitting there eating, and my Uncle Bob's sitting there eating this potato salad, and he's got the steak. He's been sitting there for 20 minutes before I sat down, at least, because I'm cooking, I eat last, right? But I had a steak, and I'm going, so can I borrow that? It's almost finished everything for this steak. Here you go, Uncle Bob. And then I went over somewhere else, and somebody else had finished eating, so I, fuck.
But like I said, you were saying that Sabina was going nuts because she's like, I'm trying to be a good host, right?
Yeah.
The truth is, most people don't care.
Well, they didn't care.
Well, they didn't care anyway.
They just yak, right? They're all family and yakking and had a good time and ate and lots of bullshit.
Well, I mean,
And,
it's in a situation like that, I make it known to start with. Hey guys, wasn't expecting this many people, so we don't have as many chairs as we'd like, but hey,
Yeah.
stand around,
Yeah.
do all that stuff. And once you set that out, it doesn't matter how anal they are, it's just
Yeah.
like, hey,
Yeah.
it's the way it is.
Well, it was where I was going with this too is Rebecca said something about we're having it at your she's talking to Speed on the phone going, well, we're having it at your place, but it won't matter. It's not like you have to clean or anything.
That's
As
great.
Sabina's running
Like,
around the day of,
Right.
doing all the not cleaning she normally never does.
Yeah.
Especially
Yeah.
when companies ever give it a little extra polish. Right?
I know.
But then commenting about that multiple times throughout the day. Right? I'm still doing my not cleaning the that I never do.
I hope Sabina didn't hear her say that.
Oh, she did. That's what he
Oh,
was saying.
oh.
She was talking to
yeah,
Sabina.
she's talking to Sabina.
I told her that well, you wouldn't have to really do much to get it.
Not Sabina. Not that Sabina would get her hair in a knot over that, but
Well, the joke is she always washes the floor before anyone comes over.
yeah.
And of course,
Nobody knows.
always gets tons of shit on the floor.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Yeah.
Let's wash it again after we leave. Why do you wash the floor? Well,
Makes her feel better. Is basically why it is. It makes her feel better because I'm sure that she was brought up in an immaculate house. Maybe there's her self-worth is definitely tied to it. And I know that. I know that about her. I've watched her do it, and I go.
The other example, and this is typical, she likes to say,
Mhm.
another example of how she was raised and how she thinks and whatever, is they moved up to Mackenzie. I don't know if you guys know where that is. It's gone off a long ways north in the middle of the province, 2 hours north of Prince George. Probably doesn't know. And the mill town, BCFP, British Columbia Forest Products. And big mill town, like pretty well. That's all it really was.
Yes.
But they had school, a theater,
Yeah.
pool,
Right.
a really
It was like Slave Lake. Yeah.
huge community,
Yeah.
right? And they got there, and my father-in-law was working for the mill. He was going to be an unticketed mill rate. So he goes to the place where he's going to talk to the guy about the accommodations for the family. It's 4 or 5 kids or whatever at the time. And the guy says, "Oh, I'll tell you what. Let's go for a drive." And he actually goes in to my father-in-law's car, and the 2 of them drive off to look at the places and pick one, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he tells them later that he does that with all the people coming in. If the car is a frigging pig pen, they get those houses over there. If they're the immaculate, polished, waxed, probably washed it when I got into town, no speck of dust on the carpet, you get a house over there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
You can imagine they got the house over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take your pick.
We'd be getting the house over there.
And that's what Rebecca's car is like. You get in, and you're thinking, Maybe I should wear my coveralls.
That sounds like my car.
No, my car.
Oh.
You know, because the
My
seat's
car
all
is-
full of crumbs and
Yeah.
bits
Well.
and car pop from her kid. And, you know, it's like, yeah, I'm going to stick to it. You know. That's also the kind of things, right?
Yeah. I understand.
Mine just smells.
I sleesh mine out every once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still a nice guy though.
Mine smelled good for a while. 'cause
Mine's
I had
not
a-
nice
I
and
had a
clean,
bottle
just
of,
nice.
laundry detergent break in my car on the way home from a grocery store.
Oh,
once.
wow.
And it went under the seat. You can actually see where it stained the carpet. Because it's under the seat, so you'd have to take the seat out in
Yeah.
order to get to it. So it's like, okay, it smells better than it did before, I'll just not worry.
Remember last time I cleaned my car out and Kitty sat in. Is this your car? Did you get a new car? Shut up.
The worst I had was went to McDonald's, got takeout for everyone, and I had one of those little trays with all the milkshakes
Milkshakes,
Yeah.
yeah.
and stuff. And of course I had the bag, and I'm grabbing the milkshake thing out of the right-hand seat. And one of the milkshake just flips out and falls in between the seat
Oh.
and the door. Wedges there, right? And so I kind of went, it didn't open, right? I kind of grabbed it, and then I lifted it. And
Oops.
of course it hung up the lid and it was whoosh. Right?
No.
And I cleaned and I washed and I waxed. And you think the car stunk with that dairy product in there for a few months as it was
Yeah, fermenting.
Ugh.
that one.
Dad was saying, my dad growing up, he was usually the designated driver. So he'd drive around a carload of girls and make sure they got up home okay, and then he'd go pick up his buddies who were too loaded to drive home and go
Yeah.
prop them up over the toilet, you know. And moms would find them the next morning with a toilet seat over their heads. Oh, thank you for getting so-and-so home. Anyways, but if they puked in his car, he'd drive back over the next day and make them with their hangovers clean up the car. He said
Got it.
one guy in particular, I think it was his best friend, went to, you know, because he told, dude, if you're going to puke, stick your head out the window. So he's leaning, but he didn't quite make it, and it went in between the window.
Oh.
Oh,
And he
dark.
said, you want to talk about trying to clean that out?
That's harsh.
Yeah. He said, and I made sure he did it, but ew.
Yeah. I think with the milkshake, I actually just grabbed it to try and maneuver it, and it's right.
It's squished.
Yuck.
In hindsight, next time I should open the door. That was nasty.
Oh, I guess. Oh, no, I've had.
Chocolate shake.
Well, no, I had Windex go. Windex actually made the car smell actually kind of cool. You know, it actually smells clean for the first time forever.
Am I telling you about my cousin Brian and his the John down by the Echo Princess? See, my cousin's husband, he's been a carpenter type guy his whole life. He's up there. He's gonna be
Journeyman.
Oh no, he's a master carpenter.
Right.
Reads all the plans. He actually runs job sites.
Oh,
Been running
so
job sites
he's
for a long time.
He's a foreman.
Oh yeah, big time.
Big
Right?
foreman.
And he runs all. He's running the Jubilee upgrade, and he was running the Wax Museum. And when they were down at the Wax Museum, they had porta potty set up closer over to the ferry.
Right.
Right.
And of course, he kept on telling his guys to lock the door because people coming off the ferry kept on thinking, oh. And of course, what happens is the porta potty is this. You say I have 10 guys, and so they come. 10 guys equals will come once a week,
Right.
and you pay by
Yeah.
volume of what comes out, right? Pump it out. And of course,
With the ferry traffic coming.
so the stupid guys kept on not
Locked.
locking it, right? And he says he comes up there one time, and there's a guy, you can see this guy has the door open behind him, he's leaning into it, and there's this guy with an energy drink bottle, right? And he's underneath the hand cleaner. There's alcohol in it, right?
Right.
It's just gone. Nice. It's all kinds. I don't even think about the fact there's alcohol
Yeah.
in cleaner.
Well,
I never
because
thought of
it
what
evaporates. That's
Yeah.
why.
Well, it also that's what kills the germs too. The idea is that the alcohol's sanitizing. Right? He had another story about that too, but I can't remember what it was.
I mean, all through the 80s, it was, the drunk guys coming in and getting mouthwash,
Yeah, Aquavelva and
Aquavelva,
shaving, electric shaving lotion.
Oh, and the pure vanilla too. It's got-
Oh yeah, right.
That's why a lot of people use the artificial vanilla extract. So if their kids get into it, they won't get drunk.
Yeah, you know it's so funny. Think about that once in a while that I've got this great big booze cupboard.
Yeah.
It's all half open. I don't think any of it's watered down. Because, like, to be honest, I couldn't tell you if they drank. If I had a 3/4 of a bottle and they drank most of it, I wouldn't know.
You wouldn't even have noticed.
I wouldn't.
Because,
notice.
well,
I don't pay attention,
we're the
right?
same way, right? I mean, we rarely ever touch it.
Yeah.
Mm.
You know, we'll drink some and we'll, half
Last
a
time
bottle
I was
or.
camping, we took the Fireball out with us because we had a dragonfly land in the cup of Fireball.
But yeah, I mean, it's,
But before that was my birthday last year.
yeah,
So-
I couldn't tell you.
After that time, I mixed wine and shots.
Yeah,
Like,
she was done.
I bet.
oh God, I'd never been sick drinking before, and
Seriously. Yeah.
Oh, it was
seriously,
bad.
never been sick with it. I mean, I've been blacked out. I've been,
I was amazed at how
Just
not
looping
drunk I
and
was
stuff
with the amount of stuff that I drank. Right? I mean, because I had what, 3 glasses of wine, and then we started doing shots of Fireball.
and
But
then,
it just didn't affect me.
yeah, well,
I mean, it was like I got sort of drunkish, and then I backed off. I don't know what it was, but it was
they
weird.
have that stuff that's like Bailey's, but it wasn't Bailey's.
Oh,
it was
yeah,
something
it was
else, and I was
something
doing
else.
shots of that too, and that's what.
It was Irish cream.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what
something
set me off.
Well, just for sure, some things affect some people different ways, right?
Well, the Fireball didn't really. I mean, it was the
No.
wine. The wine kind of got me drunk, and then we started doing Fireball and the other stuff, and it was like I was fine.
Then I stood up and
Oh yeah, she was
crap.
gone.
I got sick that night, but the next morning, God, bar for Rema, holy crap.
Nice.
I've never done that. Because we stayed over at our friend's condo, and they had like a hospitality suite, so we were staying in there because we're too loaded to go anywhere. And he's running to Thrifties the next morning buying me Emergency and Tylenol and all this stuff.
An emergency just
Emergency
worked
worked.
huge. We 2 packets of Emergency, right? And within 15 minutes, she felt human.
Yeah.
Wow, that's huge.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
he was still doing the karaoke at the upper deck, and he was doing the karaoke contest, and had to go to work that night. And so I'm like, okay, I gotta sober up here.
but no, it was literally. I mean, I had talked to a bunch of people in this, and one of the reasons that you suffer hangovers is because your body's depleted of a bunch of minerals. And what the Emergency does, because it's the foam stuff, it gets right into your bloodstream like right away. Right? So it's just like perks you right up.
Good to know. I mean, I probably won't need it anytime soon.
Yeah.
Never know, right?
It is good stuff.
Such a booze hound.
Yeah. Just like us.
Yeah, exactly. That was awesome. Yeah, what you singing? That's good.
Yeah. Hey, you missed all the really bad scenes when we were trying to.
Oh yeah, we were thinking earlier.
Yeah, it was.
I read this book.
Which book? Oh, that one?
I have a bunch of his.
Yeah, I read this one from work.
Odd Promise. Intensity was the first Ian Coon's book.
That was the first one I read too. You had to read it for cycles.
was okay.
Here, I'll go get the.
Kind of a little frozen spots.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Well, happy birthday.
Thank you. Thanks for the gift card. Oh.
Freak out.
What?
Hey guys. Are you ready to be a good cat? Watch out. Thanks for putting up with us. We appreciate it.
Is it cute?